I wanted to do this video to clarify a few things, particularly about thesis statements. Thesis statement, again, is the encapsulation of everything that your essay is going to cover. So after I reviewed this class's thesis statements, I became a little concerned that maybe some of you were a little confused about the focus of the essay. So this essay is an assessment of how your particular advertisement effectively persuades the specific target audience that you determined from looking at your magazine when you did that data collection worksheet last week. How this ad is effective or not effective by the way it uses the rhetorical appeals. You really want to stay away from reviewing this product. The product is irrelevant in this case. It's simply the subject of your ad, so it's not important in and of itself. So your thesis statement has to have two parts. The first part will name the ad. You've got to give your ad a name, and you've got to judge it. You say the Neutrogena sunscreen ad is effective or is not effective. Then the second part of the sentence says, because of the way it employs or does not employ the three appeals. And all three appeals need to be mentioned, even if you think one of the appeals is absent. You will say that in your thesis statement. So the Neutrogena sunscreen ad is effective in persuading its readers or its audience because of the way it uses ethos, logos, and pathos to present a convincing advertisement, something like that. You'll work on the wording of it, but those elements need to be in that thesis statement. So if you look at my templates, I give you several scenarios. You want to read through these templates, and you can use one of them, or you can write your own. But quite a few of you were missing that judgment. You absolutely have to judge that thesis statement or that advertisement. All right, so do not use first or second person, not anywhere, not in the thesis statement, not in the introduction. You're going to lose points for this. Again, you're not writing a review of the product. Your thesis statement should not be a question. When you are looking at the organization, your outline, I gave you a specific outline. Let me go ahead and pull that up. Let me pull this over here. So your outline, you're going to have two introductory paragraphs. Now, you are, it's your choice if you want to open up with, so you're going to open up obviously with the hook. Every essay starts with the hook. The other thing is every essay has the thesis statement is the last sentence in the first paragraph. So we're going to stick with that. But if you want to move this description of the ad into your first paragraph and then move this rhetorical situation, this discussion of the audience, into the second paragraph, that's fine with me. That's your choice. I'm not particular. As long as your description is in its own separate paragraph and your rhetorical situation discussion, that's the discussion of that audience, that targeted audience, that's in its own paragraph. You are free to kind of play around with some of this stuff. Your thesis statement should be the last sentence of that first paragraph, and you need to have a hook pulling me into that essay. Now, the thesis statement is going to name all three of the rhetorical appeals. Now, the order in which you name them in your thesis statement is the order that these paragraphs must appear. So you can alter that as you need, but it must match with your thesis statement. And then finally, you want to have your conclusion, wherein you kind of talk big picture back about this particular advertisement, the reception of it, why it appeals to this audience, things like that. And then you have to have a works cited page, because remember, you need to have at least two sources, the ad itself and the media kit, and possibly the website of the product if you want to get some background information on the product. All right, so your introduction is going to be essentially 2 paragraphs long. It's going to incorporate the rhetorical situation and the description of the ad. Then you've got 3 body paragraphs and then a conclusion. All right. Now I wanted to cover the lesson that we had from the Saturday memo, that information I posted on Saturday. The first bit is the works cited. I give you how you need to cite your ad as well as your media kit. Now remember, you got to use hanging indent if it goes over 2 lines, but I can't do that on Blackboard, it won't let me. But other than that, here's how you do your ad citation. The second part of this announcement had to do with this claim, evidence, and reasoning. So in your body of your paper, you are making claims about how the ad uses ethos, logos, and pathos. Those claims come from the image itself. So every time you make a claim, you need to say, if you say this ad is believable because of its use of a celebrity spokesperson, then you would say, for example, the Neutrogena ad uses Jennifer Garner, and the reason she's believable is blank, and you explain yourself. So every time you claim something about your ad, you need to go back to that picture and say, why are you saying that? Tell me, why are you saying that? So you really need to work on developing each one of those claims with actual evidence from the ad itself. That's important. Now, if we go back to the memo I put last week on Thursday, I essentially walked you through how to find the appeals in this ad based on a student essay. So I showed you how this student gathered all the information, so all the rhetorical situation, and then how the outline, how the student went through and picked out, talked about the rhetorical situation, gave a description of the ad, and then developed each of the body paragraphs. You really want to go and read through this particular announcement to look at especially the claim, evidence, and reasoning. So the student does a great job of going back to the picture and saying, for example, with pathos, love is mentioned, and then, for example, love is founded in bright bolded letters. So if we go back to the picture, we can see that. So the student constantly says, hey, we see about self-care. We see about how it's emotion. There's a heart on the ad. So the student doesn't just say this ad appeals to pathos because it talks about self-care. It goes back to the picture and shows us. That's what you need to do. All right, final bit has to do with your discussion board work. So if we go to our week 8 where we are, you've got a peer review session. You need to have that rough draft uploaded by tomorrow. It must be uploaded here, and then you need to turn around right away, the same day you upload it here, and upload it here, so that your group can do the peer review. Now, I've had a couple of questions about this simple paragraph long reply. What this means is you're going to write a paragraph to the person you've been assigned to. So for example, if we come here, let's click on group 1, for example. We've got Calhoun writing a full worksheet on right and a paragraph review for Wooten. What that means is that for Wooten, what Calhoun is going to do is say, hey, I really liked the way you did the advertisement description, but here's what you need to work on. So you're going to give a big picture assessment of that person's essay for that paragraph review. And the worksheet is kind of self-explanatory. You're going to pick through it. All right? Now, those peer reviews are due on Sunday night. Okay? All right. Any questions, go ahead and email me or call me.